Overpass. He's historically been quite good on the map, even when we saw him a couple of years ago. I loved him on this map, but he's also a player who does feel the pressure more than most, and for good reason. It's one of the highest pressure positions. His riflers, as of late, have not been having the best of times. I think David has struggled more than he did in the beginning. He's a player I'm a big fan of. I think he's been a great signing for paiN, who themselves have branched out internationally, even if it's locally in their own region. And Snow as well has never quite lived up to the billing that he had. So paiN putting a lot of pressure on their shoulders as they will allow this to be Overpass. Fnatic, they're coming in with question marks of their own.
Yeah, CT side start here for paiN, and already moving with a 4-1 setup. Only one hovering and keeping an eye on that A site, and potential paths to it is NQZ. Start with that stack, and paiN, I imagine, won't sit in that forever. Fnatic making and stretching their legs, getting a lot of headroom over towards that A site via long. You can spot them, but now getting a very, very rude awakening. Teammates now en route, a full nade set as well, making its way into that A play, and Fnatic realizes a player inside of that bathroom. NQZ finally dealt with Snow, just decapitating. Jacasmo just flourishing under the new organization. 3 kills immediately, and that's a wrap. There's no way DGT can even think about this one.
I would like to formally apologize for saying Jacasmo is a passive player who probably isn't going to be on the entry.
I mean,
that's a Chuck Norris roundhouse kick 3K coming in over there. It's almost comical and cartoonish the way he moves into that bomb site.
He actually owned everybody, which was, I guess, a little staggering. Everyone, apologies to Jacasmo. Jokes aside, it is an early start, a pistol round, and they got good timing. You know, NQZ did spot check towards long, missed the timing, and then when he re-jiggled it, there were 3 players staring at his corner. So, fortunate timing there for Fnatic, but capitalizing on that headroom and getting some nice headshots en route.
Fnatic, of course, one of the pieces about them that is less discussed is their relatively newer coach as well, in the form of Independent, the Latvian, who has now been head coaching them for a couple of months. I'm sure some of the recent changes would have his input on them as well. Let's see what he can try and assist over here. paiN go into this round with a full force buy. They will come out of the first 20 seconds with 2 players lost and no one gained in response. It should be a relatively clean last few kills coming out for Fnatic, and Jambo guarantees it.
Well, a very curious opening gambit there from paiN, really. They tried to go for a deep smoke out monster and just hyper aggressive, but Fnatic ran past those timings and just shot at their feet. So they found 2 entries and then enough real estate, enough runway towards this B bomb site. So there was very little the remaining paiN players could do to stop it. It's a fairly all-in maneuver, but one that can set a precedent. paiN willing to express some of the things that they've practiced. You know, for Fnatic as well, this is a bit of a weird position to find yourself in, where you have a map that you don't necessarily pick all the time, but you've had a decent amount of reps in your run up to the major with it.
Yeah.
But you're flying into an opponent that you don't know that much about on the map. You can make some assumptions, but the tricks of the trade that paiN could demonstrate in this game, I wouldn't be surprised if Fnatic fall victim to them. It's the type of thing that you'd encounter in your demo watching or your analysis ahead of the game and think, well, we won't get caught out by that double or triple boost or that nade stack. There's no demos. How could you possibly?
A lot of times you also just forget and get caught out by it anyway. Well. Maybe a little bit more preparation needed for that nade. Legit, nice kill for him, but that's going to be all that we have. Coming through over here, NQZ adds in his little conversational piece with the scout, but largely speaking, Fnatic, actually, they're very low, to be fair. They are all within one body deagle shot territory. And they're rotating back to A. If NQZ is in position, paiN could feasibly win this.
They've double rotated, though, down to that lower site. They're playing off each other and expecting this to just be a pause play here from Fnatic. They haven't pieced it together just yet. But there's also no urgency from Fnatic to dive into this bomb site, given that everyone is weak in the knees.
NQZ now starts to make a move on. A single smoke should be removing any impact that he can really have. And as it goes down onto the bomb set to ensure the plant in, paiN will be leaning back out to save. They don't realize how incredibly close they just got to being able to get a big upset.
Yeah, that's a bit of a shame, really. I mean, just how are you supposed to piece this together? Just how much damage has been done? A lot of it is unconfirmed. You'd have maybe some communications that one player may be low, two, but you're also just out of position. Didn't come to the right assessment. So Fnatic, 3-0 start.
Good to see.
I think there's quite a few recent. There's a resurgence of Fnatic haters. I think everybody was, down on the organization for a little bit. They make the reshuffling. They bring in pieces like blamF. They don't necessarily perform as good as they maybe anticipated. They have Mattis. They scout good talent that then gets plucked away, and somehow they make the major. And everyone's like, oh wow, Fnatic are back on the menu.
At the major.
And NIP are back on the menu. These old legacy organizations of Counter-Strike are suddenly back in the conversation, and now it's been clouded by some of the management decisions. I think there is a segment that will care about how good their Counter-Strike looks under their management decisions. But there's also a segment that will just see the injustice and think nothing matters. Just gonna hate for hate's sake. But yeah, so far, so good for Fnatic. They need the results with these changes. Snow, devastated on the peaks. The flashes are beautiful. Davideus offers nothing in response. The bomb goes hunting out on bridge though, and Davideus sweeps up two more. So suddenly a 3-on-2 here for paiN, where that bomb is out in the open.
Eagle's in a very good position on the flank, coming in from behind. He's going to find a freebie on the blamF. Make that two. The double-double between Pigu and Davideus. That is just great work. Davideus delays his peek through. Fnatic are spending all of their time lining up utility to get the double Molotov out towards CT and Alphabet to eliminate Vision, or at least eliminate him from the round overall. That's when Davideus strikes, because he realizes where that util is coming in from, knows that smoke on the left side is going to be providing him enough cover that he can play the late round, and Snow did a Snow was in a very critical position there to be able to at least stay alive. When he goes down, I thought, like you said, Davideus wouldn't get anything, but nice adjustment, and he sets up for Bigu's dunk down.
Yeah, the utility isolated Snow considerably, and he's going to be the major talking point, maybe a focal point really within this CT side. That B anchor position is one that can be so pivotal on this map when fast rotations are very much available to T sides when you aren't continuously fighting for con in short order.
This is the first time I've ever seen that triple boost being used in a full gun round. They completely abandon any information out towards connector and toilets for that one as well. So paiN are going to be constantly antsy. Deep Heaven smoke comes out. It's going to be a B pop, and rotation from paiN are going to be in position. Davideus this time doesn't have a smoke to help him out in this position, but he does have Snow getting actual numbers. Not just the one, but the two in total. And incendiary to the site itself will delay for just long enough that they can even consider setting up for a boost for NQZ to peek back out over. They decide against it. Bigu still clearing what he expects to be as a lurker, but Fnatic are still low and in risky territory. The bomb dropped on bridge, no way to regain it. NQZ even goes for the peek out wide, gives the risk of letting that advantage whittle down, but he'll stay alive. And paiN are still convinced that someone has to be coming in from behind.
Yeah, they're
Fnatic has to be making a
paranoid.
move. They can't be just sitting and waiting for death, but I hate to break it to you, paiN. That's exactly what's going on. blamF swings out wide, doesn't get anything, and neither will Jacasmo. Snow with 4 massive kills on that B hold.
Yeah, I mean, wonderful stuff. Changed his position considerably. Held on to short that entire time when it's a full monster play from Fnatic. And once he realizes that there's nobody coming out from short, he just immediately starts fighting into the site, and Fnatic disregard it. So really nice effort from Snow, but yeah, Fnatic just kind of stole out. And you can understand, look at the scouting report going into this game, expecting, you know, players like Fear, like BlameF, that can sometimes go on sort of rogue missions at times and late lurks. Why paiN were so paranoid about the prospect of a flank. Why else would they be pausing? They repositioned last time against the force buy we had on our B stack. But yeah, kept their wits about them and still secured the round, so that minor separation that Fnatic got on the opening trot are whittled down to 1 and down onto pistols as well. BlameF has a hero AK.
What can he do with it? Up for boost, spots out the one, isn't able to get the kill. Not even really much damage, Digit. He's feeling comfy.
Don't even think he really spotted him. I think he just heard the steps on the retreat and started spamming at him. Knew where to assume he was. But I don't think either player really got a visual confirmation.
It's the auditory spray measuring contest. That's what's going on over there.
It's a weird B-hold setup. I mean, these CTs are in elevated positions on the bomb site itself.
They're really hoping that this is going to be just headshot angles to fight from, but they've been forced off initially. DGT good for 2, but Crimson Jambo, it's the pistols that unexpectedly end up striking through with gold. Still should be expected here. They need to clear for it. They should have read the kill feed, and with a grenade to the site itself, Snow can clear it out. Fear has already been forced back, and Jambo, he's in no man's land. That hero AK doesn't look particularly heroic in his hands right now as he's trying to scroll past by into NQZ's scope. That's where he finds his deathbed.
That felt like a crazy play to make from Jacasmo. I mean, 3v3, smoke mid-site. They should be clearing into short water, but the smoke actually kind of moves deep into water. And because of that, I think it actually gives a little bit more runway for Snow. You see how it spills out behind him? Jacasmo, I think, getting lost inside of that smoke, because his flank into that pit position actually could have served them a lot of good had he successfully killed Snow, but just had no idea. But yeah, a pretty crazy play. Fnatic getting shut out now on these B attempts. So that has been largely their focus. And I could certainly understand why. You know, there's been a lot of hype and talk about Snow because he's a young, prospective, high-caliber player when he was on Case, or CAC Esports, however you want to say that organization. On his come-up, very much a high-stats player. But in his transition to paiN, has maybe struggled, actually, in some of the decision-making that, you know, most anchor-type players would find themselves in. He's very much, you know, a fighting-heavy player, but in the paiN system, he has to be more passive and more restrained. And it's not translated to necessarily the greatest performances from him, but occasionally we see just how good he can be, which gives us a lot of hope that you can grow into it.
Yeah.
He has had a lot of time to grow, is maybe the counter-argument.
Like, superstars come out with guns blazing. Stars can still look for kindling, though.
Yeah, flowers also blossom at different times, at different seasons.
Yeah. Long control, one of the first times we've seen this contested, while Crims has just gone down in what he was hoping would be an aggressive lurk. Nice kill from Fair, though, to respond. That leaves this as a quick pincer on the Bigu that could be made possible. The problem is that David Oz has come through. That one flashbang in his pocket could be critical. The smoke to the middle of the bomb site. Jacasmo will be hurrying his booty forward. Fear, though, swings out wide into David Oz. Jacasmo does the same to Bigu. David really looked like he had the advantage over there, but simply can't make it work. Fnatic, comfy little start on the A side.
Yeah, a little staggered hits towards that A site. Just nice, simple flash work into Long and able to coordinate between Long and the bathroom's entrance into that A-bomb site. You know, just as soon as Fear was swinging, Jambo was also which, you know, is I guess, a sort of risk, but, you know, with accompanying flashes out from long, makes it more complicated there for paiN. So it's a fairly bare bones attack there from Fnatic. One that does rely on those entries to pull through, but hey, sometimes simple works.
Yeah, he's doing great on BC game right now. Yeah, you're right.
I knew you were going to say something. Simple's looking a lot like Flamus these days. For unexplained reasons.
Fnatic have to compound on that success. One of the good things is that, look, just as a reminder to everyone again and again, paiN has not played this map in officials before. They might look good in some of these spots out towards the B-bomb side and whatnot, but they are going to have some of their limits tested. Right, so for Fnatic, it might be that the higher the variance you're bringing in from the T side, the better it could end up being for you. Kill on the Jambo is good from Bigu though, and he's going to be able to hold on to connector because of that. It's been a largely uncontested zone for both teams, but now Fair wants to recommit in and find this backstab. Spotted out the shadow, heard the footstep backwards, and Bigu's ready, but he's not going to get the kill. Looks very similar to that last round, the way he died, but they do still have themselves an advantage given to them courtesy of Snow re-aggressing to find Crims, who's poking and prodding.
Yeah, just trying to operate as a lurk. And with him dead on one extreme, that should signal something here to paiN. Little spot check, flash out from Jacasmo is just overhead, but NQC doesn't hit the shot. Back to 3-on-3, Digit up close and personal inside of those bathrooms. Spam does connect on him, but they don't know for sure that he's in here. One player down, another committed to the reload. Jacasmo has to commit to that plant, but they still don't account for Digit, who starts to emerge from that smoke and can deal with that player on the plant. Fear right behind that smoke as well. Digit allowed chance to reposition, but bomb not reacquired here by Fear. It's still out in the open, and with low time on the clock, has to take the fight. And Digit goes out and complies. Fnatic, by the skin of their teeth, by the in-game leader, pull through with 5.
I mean, we're again and again seeing paiN in position to be able to really set up for a nice, successful, big multi-kill for a big individual play. Even these small things like Big Uzair not being able to find the kill on the clear, it's being compounded massively towards the end. You know what? Finding the kill on the bomb planter, that's great and all, but the kill, the fragment David is what actually breaks this round. Davidus is supposed to be that consistent piece who's then combining in with Digit to move in through the smoke or something off the sword, but they're not even ready to play that 1-2 in any real feasible way.
Yeah, I mean, Digit just played inside of the smoke, and then there was this front side smoke that was likely deployed by CTs to disrupt the hit, which actually kind of screwed Digit on the play that he was making, actually, for the late round. It's a bit of a mess. And it didn't necessarily feel like they were the most put together, but that is the risk you fare, pulling into a map with no reps. paiN will have a lot to answer for. Yes, there's times to demonstrate your map pool, but did it have to be in an international foray?
In a best of one?
Yeah.
Versus a team of X Factors.
Their scrims must have been very good.
I mean, they must have been killing all of Red Caneds again and again.
Yeah, I mean, genuinely, those scrims must have been going swimmingly if to take the risk. I think most other teams wouldn't. I don't think that's unjustified.
We are also seeing, like I said, a couple of individual failures, all right? Even in that previous round, NQZ not being able to find the kill when the flashbang fails on him, and he does have full visibility. It's a hard shot. You know, you're being run down by two players. You are trying to reposition while you're doing it and whatnot, but unfortunately, you got to hit some hard shots.
Yeah, it's not... I mean, that's less a macro thing and more on the micro, right? But it's... I think...
It just goes into the pressure of an official, right? It's also I think you'll always see it more so on like your star roles as well. So, you know, you're looking at towards NQZ on the op over here on CT side Overpass. You're going to look towards Bigu on the A site with the rifle, whenever he has that as well. Because these are the most influential roles on the map.
3-man boost. They tried this in a gun round before, but running with a lot less. I was looking for it, but yeah, just a little bit too much shoulder showing. Krim spots it and doesn't full foul to any tricks.
Boost on Overpass. Get out of here. Who does that?
Yeah. Who could have innovated something like that?
Ooh, nice hit from NQZ though. Fair being taken down means there's not really any A-site pressure that's going to be available for Fnatic for this late round, so they might have to spread their wings a little bit more to exert it unless they want to come back into this B-bomb side hit. And Davidos had a chance. He had the jump on them. He just can't finish them off. This round still has some teeth to it. Snow has an M4. NQZ's making that rotation over the APD. If he can find a kill through these smokes, this could still be big. Snow's playing up close and personal, trying to move out and deny the bomb one. Will not be able to do so, but he at least is bumping booties with Jambo. He's inside the smoke. If he had a kit, you could have seen him try and force it, but instead, he moves past into a very vigilant Jambo. NQZ, who was just sitting on top of a booster all this time, is also going to be left without anything to do in this round.
He was focusing the planter. I think there's a lot of justification to try and punish those players on short. One was going to a reload. The other, you know, will they be watching the smoke diligently? I mean, possibly. Felt like the weaker of the options to try for the planter when your teammates don't necessarily have the best equipment to back you up. They're not really playing forward with you either. Still a risky move. One that could have feasibly won them around in theory. But not to be. Fnatic don't let any tricks mess up their path back into a little bit of strength here on this T side. Start out with the 3-0 start. Answered back by paiN, but Fnatic with some distance and accruing rounds on this T side. And I think, you know, when we look at the paiN and this paiN roster and the way that they've restructured, if I'm thinking about the weapons that they bring to the table, it is actually largely on that T side that I expect to see greater things from paiN. You know, players like Davideus, like Digit, Big Uzera. You know, these are all very explosive pieces, ones that can win rounds in ways that other players actually can't. You know, Digit especially, I think, I've always taken a likeness to, just because he's so lurky, but he also takes like crazy risks at times. So if I'm expected to see gaps exposed, it would largely be on CT. But they're hoping for more of a cushion as they demonstrate their playbook. They won't want Fnatic to come away with a very dominant half. And that's still on the table. Her running away, and Fear will capitalize. Does a lot of damage onto NQZ, but actually doesn't chase down the trade. Chase down that frag, rather.
The focus is still going to be over here on the B1 side, but the boost up on top of Jacasmo from Jambo will find him an opportunity that he can't make much of. Still 40 seconds and the trigger will be pulled. It's a B-side hit to come through. Close and personal is Snow right next to the wood, but he reveals position and he sees the shadow, still gets the kill. Moves back over, hunting for the AK, doesn't want to reload, but now it's going to be all on Davidos. Good for the one, Orb covering him off on the other side. Blamev will be able to trade, and now Fnatic close the distance to that B-bomb site. Bomb can be planted, but they've tossed it out in the open. Who's going to go back and pick it up? Those smokes have got plenty of time left, so they don't have to worry too much about it, but now does Bigu want to try and make this round work for them? 2 versus 3, he's not even close by. He's going to call it quits.
That's so frustrating. I mean, Snow doing a lot of, sending a lot of bullets down range and only coming away with 1 kill. He basically becomes a dud on the remainder of the hold because he's fishing for that AK. And, you know, I'm not one to usually criticize or look at M4A1S versus A4, but that's a situation you just wish you had an A4.
I mean, B-side anchor Overpass is one of the classic M4A4 spots.
Yeah.
You've seen some iconic spray downs over here. It's one of the best places to be able to dart to and fro between smokes as well, not just fire through them.
Yeah, just you kind of felt that there could have been a start to a hold there, but you know, Davideus is essentially holding the site himself because Snow is messing around with the smoke, which is crazy. It's crazy.
ready to receive another spot for the A4, but he'll do well with just the A1. 2 quick kills, and that's all you can ask for. Nevertheless, with the smoke down to be able to give Digit a bit more space to creep and crawl forward as well. They're going to realize there's no one in short, and Fnatic also realizing pretty late, actually, we would like a second prong to this assault. Right now, they just like a second player in it. Crimson Chikazma are left in a 2 versus 4 with NQZ covering off a rotation into connector. He cannot afford to miss a shot, though. Digit, well, he'll make sure that NQZ doesn't even need to fire one. Behind, head spotted, and taken off. paiN find 4 and keep just as many alive.
Yeah, Fnatic clearly wanted to go for some kind of knockout punch on this B-bomb site, just immediately rushing through that monstrous smoke and being greeted by a Snow who does collect on those 2 kills and immediately cuts the plans for Fnatic in half. Really nicely done there from Snow, who maybe struggled to come away and have good bullet management on his kills in the round prior. That's a fantastic job there. Just a little tempo change there for Fnatic. I think they're going to start poking and probing once again. This time, pick into the connector for Jambo.
That Molotov's not going to spread.
Yeah, not a set lineup.
Digit has the big chance. He's given up his position.
Why has he done that?
They don't realize it. They think he's up top. Digit still had the opportunity, but he's not able to put it to use still. 1 for 1 is better than nothing at all. And Biguzera nearby knows that there's going to be a player inside connector. That door has not opened. Crims, however, is on the other side of it regardless.
I can't tell if what Digit did was big brain or not, actually, but you know, it worked out wonderfully. You can see taking a lot of damage just spot checking into that B-bomb site, so he's weak. It's 4-on-4, but with that ult low, it could change the decision tree here for paiN. Right now, Bigu looking to reinforce that A-bomb site. He will join Davideus. Fnatic creep into towards this A-bomb site, past the bathrooms, and now starting to make their noise and presence felt. Molotov out, Bigu will swing immediately off of that contact. And Fnatic are still a little tepid, still unsure about whether or not they continue to pursue this. Flashes are great, the Molotov's the back site, but Davideus has found another, and he'll just continue ripping heads. Blame F inside of the connector, 14 seconds. This ain't the way that you win a round. Last round of this half will fall the way of paiN. There is no way that Blame can win or salvage anything, and it will just be another head added to the tally there for Davideus. A 7-5 half for Fnatic, though, on this attack.
And Davideus having a couple of very critical rounds over there across most of the gun rounds. I think that he had 3 different multi-kills, which were key in ensuring them to find this many. But like you said, Fnatic doing a very good job of exploiting what is clearly a paiN that is not completely prepared to be playing on this map. We've seen so many places where Biguzera has been uncharacteristically, you know, for lack of a better word, slightly useless in certain places. He's caught between rotates and he's there too late, sometimes not really able to assist the rest of his team in any meaningful fashion. Haven't seen much aggression on the A site from him either, which is generally what you want from a rifling player at least a couple of times and a half. And whatnot, Fnatic have done a wonderful job of exploiting the opportunity in front of them, but can they close it out? That's still the question.
Pretty solid half, you know, with all the scrutiny and all the eyes on Chikazmo. Pretty solid half from him, liking on quite a few of these. Not necessarily entries, but more a supplementary position. You know, he was very frequently in on that either first or second. Especially in mid-rounds, he would be one of the more aggressive pieces that Fnatic put to the forefront. Trying to characterize it as people become more and more familiar with Chikazmo. May not be a like-for-like example, but a pretty solid half, all things considered. Oh, wow. No. Very aggressive move from Biguzera, and Chikazmo's dead. Fear good on the response, though.
He's going to be in a difficult spot. Jambo's actually got an incredibly aggressive, and he keeps the pressure going. Surprisingly enough, even though he's only one player here, he keeps on just swinging out, spamming forward, taking fights, and now having his head taken off. He's buying time, he's buying space. It's Blame coming in from behind, and when he hears those flashes being thrown, Second as well. Blame's not going to have an easy kill though. NQZ turns around to look for the duel, will not win it. He's Digit alone.
Yeah, that was that noose tightening. Good job from Blame not fumbling that frag, because it should make it impossible for Digit to win this.
Too much to do. The first duel he takes will be a solo one for the next 5 seconds, I guess, because Fear has now made his way over through to heaven. Will Crims expose himself? A veteran player who is savvy in spots like this. Now Fear has been spotted out. Crims will keep himself nice and safe and comfortably tucked in away to safety. He does end up giving up his position and his life with a Digit. Now caught between two angles again. It's Blame on the flank and Fear to enable. Fear will disable his life though. 8 on the board for Fnatic.
I mean, once Digit gets that first kill, it feels like there is a way, and then he ends up sandwiched on that bridge, which is, yeah, and again, another sort of impossible situation to find himself in. Decent enough effort. Love the idea there from Fnatic as well, just being so aggressive. Deep peeks to Monster, aggression into short pipe as well. That sort of 1-2 combo. paiN were expecting a little bit more room and perhaps respect on that pistol for Fnatic to really have them crunched in from all sides, because met with aggression one way and then suddenly had to worry about that backstab happening fast. So 2 for 2 on pistols. Had that Jacasma 3-piece on the T-side pistol. A nice call for aggression. Call to arms.
paiN will not be force spying on their T-side. They'll just have a deagle. They're hoping that Fnatic will be the ones to make a mistake over here more than anything else. Blame, however, always vigilant.
Somebody say ecos?
Where? Another quick kill picked up for Blame, and he isn't wanting to stick to just the MP9, but when the moneymaker is put away, then Blame's arms feel a little bit more like noodles. Digit, though, my god, that's a strong noodle. Crims needs to turn around and make sure that Digit doesn't close the gap onto Jacasma, whose rifle barrel is showing. Jacasma's a dead man. No, Digit, the movement inaccuracy comes back to bite him, and now through the smoke goes Snow, but he'll be melted. 9 for Fnatic.
Wonderful job from Blame F. Got his 3 kills on that MP9, paid for it plus more, and yeah, it's a little bit of a shame there for Digit. He doesn't hit that shot into Jacasma. It would have opened up the round, and it wouldn't necessarily have won them that moment, but put that economy more on notice. Fnatic able to dodge out on that affair. They'll find themselves 4 shy of closing on Overpass. Will be the first demonstration of a full gun round here for paiN. Blame, deep nade, Jambo right behind him. They spot this early pace of the South Americans.
Jambo's in a much more traditional opping angle initially, but he will give it up within 20 seconds or so. Repositioning back out over for Blame F to go for a jump spot just in case there's anyone in connector, rather in toilets. Blame, though, with a divider smoke, will look to play close to it and use Jambo as cover fire. paiN are not finding progress across this map. This B-bomb site feels no risk at all, and you can already see Crims is making a play to rotate back over. Blame even goes through the smoke. Aggressing forward, will spot the bomb, but not get the kill. Snow, really vigilant for any such play to be made.
Yeah, it felt like a very good adaptation or adaptation there from Fnatic to have the AWP look to long and Blame push in short, but now they've equalized back to 4-on-4, and Digit's now probing to B.
Smoke timing is good over here, though. Jacasma's going to be given a lot more space to just focusing on the short. Digit doesn't have a chance to start moving in through that smoke, and when you lose your lurker in NQZ, suddenly All that pressure is back on your shoulders. A quick rotation back to the deep bomb side. Jacasmo reveals position, but will not give up life. He'll stay in the conversation. Need to pop open a smoke that was going to be dissipating regardless. Jambo puts it to good use. 2 quick kills found as Snow and Digit are only going to be names on his kill feed.
Yeah, Davideus is just going to run and hide, try and save that AK he possesses, and he'll deny Jambo his ace. 4 kills from that ult. As soon as it graces the server, suddenly paiN have nowhere to go.
You can also see how much more comfortable Fnatic are in a lot of default CT side setups. paiN were continually trying to go for, different plays on the B-bomb side. How many times did we see that triple boost even on a gun round then coming through at a couple of places? Obviously, sometimes really a lot more aggressively as well, heading towards the monster tunnel, doubling up. And in most of these plays, you didn't actually see NQZ being able to activate. Jambo, on the other hand, straightforward positions. Started long, go back to side, go to B, there you go.
But also, for the cute ideas and the cool concepts that paiN tried to demonstrate on that CT side, what are we doing face-checking Banana first gun round on Big Uzera? There didn't feel like there was much of a plan structured.
I mean, that's the thing. If all you've got going for yourself is cute, at some point you're going to need to get a job.
Yeah, I mean, Bigu I'd describe more as fierce, but yeah, the ideas I was expecting a bit more from that first gun round. And I will be happy it was something a little bit more bog standard, defaulty. Something they'll be far more used to.
Oh, you've got to be joking. Fair. Good times for him.
And we'll go back to that conversation. Why Overpass? Why
I think paiN might go back to that conversation as well.
Yeah, why was this where we ended up in the best of 1?
And now he's not. 11-5 Fnatic looking very good in a position where, I'll be frank, I didn't expect them to.
The hate watchers are fuming. They will
Don't
not
talk
be
about
pleased.
UKCS that way.
That's why I used fuming, because it will be UK supporters. But I'll say it. The Cosmos look good. I don't think that was necessarily the question that people had about this, was whether or not Jacasmo would look good. I actually had more questions about how the roles would work out. And it really does just feel like Fear is pushing more to essentially entry. And Jacasmo is kind of right-hand man to that. And he'll be very familiar with Fear, given their run-ins with each other via Passion UA previously. So it's a soldier that he can rely upon. If Fear tells him to jump, I imagine Jacasmo's jumping. And with the role adaptations, Fear has also looked pretty solid. Only their opening foray into a strange situation with paiN on this map. One that they're hoping that they can close cleanly. Davideus, immediate upgrade. Galil to AK. Crims is down in con.
I like BlameF's position over here, though. He's taking that 5 versus P, who loses it, while Jacasmo will take his own little victory. They're losing numbers on Fnatic, and this is going to look like paiN's first gun round win, unless you can have Jambo pull out that magic wand again. Fear is putting himself in position to succeed. Should he find the kill on the Biguzera, you could have Jambo get up to similar success. Now, kill number 1 comes through. Fair is found in second, but Jambo scoped away. Snow's looking elsewhere. Jambo's going to turn the corner pretty soon. No, he isn't. At the end of the day, now it's just a guessing game for Fair about where he's supposed to go. The smoke that's been completely whiffed. With one that's a little bit more accurate on the B-bomb side, Fair is just going to move forward and look to save that up.
Yeah, definitely should just go and grab that thing. I couldn't believe that neither of them considered that as a possibility. Jambo didn't clear towards the front of bathrooms, never looked to party. Instead, just locked in on top connector, and it leads to a way back into this round for paiN, really. You know, Jambo killed Snow. This 2v1, they'd be going for it, and I'd favor odds for Fnatic. So it's not to be. It's a very strange situation, one that paiN will be more than pleased with. Grabs hold of that AWP. Bomb blast made it a little more awkward than maybe Fear would have liked. But they will recover that ult and move to buy in the next round.
Yeah, Fnatic shouldn't be too concerned just quite yet. Still good kills to start things off. I do appreciate the fact that Biguzera is able to block out Blame F over there as well, even if I did like Blame's position quite a bit. Biguz had a slower game than what we're used to seeing, and if he can start to accelerate, that'll be one of the only hopes that paiN have in bringing this back in this best of one.
Yeah, whether it's Bigu or Davideus, in terms of players that love to sort of lead the pack, they're the ones that do a lot of the heavy lifting. Davideus and Snow taking a lot of damage, though, from the nade into Con.
Jambo's in an incredibly aggressive position.
This is how he picked Biguzera last time, when they were just slow creeping into this A bomb site.
Well, they do hear Blame F going for the jump spot. If they're going to be going for the hard read over here, then Jambo's a dead man. Davideus has been given the call from earlier on. Blame will pick up not just one, but two, though. Pushes in through his own smoke, back out to long to maintain control and take the fight versus Digit, rather than the Digits on the other side. Blame nestled away, picks up kill number 3. Bigu and NQZ left in a 2 versus 4, and Bigu still got control. He's still bringing it back in, putting a case up for himself to be the MVP of this round, and with NQZ picking up yet another frag, Blame has to go for the full ace clutch.
He's read it perfect. I mean, he's down Con. He's going to beat them at this B bomb site at a very fast timing. He can get to this long pipe, but the post-plant positions are very, very strong here for paiN.
It's that smoke that makes it a problem, and NQZ is considering the possibility of someone to come in through Monster. Bigu's going to know. He's going to make the call. He's gone already, but Blame's not even trying this. Blame's not even trying this. This is not how you beat the accusations.
I mean, after all the hard work he's already put into this round, I am surprised that this is the route they take.
I mean, to be fair, he does have 19 HP and their money is terrible, but yeah, you'd love to see that clutch.
100%. I mean, Blame has done his job this round. Everything else seemed to fall a little flat.
Done like 3 people's jobs.
It's not an unreasonable save. I think just put that straight, Blame saving after a 3K in a 1v2. People would think, why isn't he going for it? But it's not an unreasonable save. He did more than his fair share on this round, and it doesn't go his way. They can always buy it in a coming round and give Blame another chance at some heroics.
I mean, it's this kind of round as well, which is why people who are, advocates for Blame joining a team like Astralis or, Fnatic leveling up around him. I mean, this is the kind of round which gives them hope again and again, which is like, hey, sure, he has maybe, taken advantage of Jambo's death over there, but he's then also not just found the double kill immediately, pushing through the smoke, fully foots it to the point where he doesn't have to worry about audio cues, then goes silent at the right time as well, so he's got the full element of surprise versus Digit. He's done everything he can, and then he just looks at the kill feed. Oh, Bigu's just killed my 2 rotating players off the back of a kind of bad smoke and dumpster.
Yeah. I'm curious about why that was the setup from Fnatic, though, with Jambo's position and then Blame jump spotting from map without a divider smoke. I could see it if there's a divider smoke. You're trying to, coax somebody into a fight where Jambo's maybe focused on front bathrooms, but yeah, Jambo needed some greater support there, basically.
Blame had also stopped jump spotting, and then Jambo dives in. Digit now, though, finds the pistols and spots some more than just the one. Fair's 5-7 is it's a tricky weapon to deal with. as is Crims's. Now, this is suddenly a 3 versus 3, and never forget that saved AK. Please don't. That would be a mistake. Blame's playing rotation. He wants to be wherever the action is. He hasn't decided where it's going to end up, though.
Yeah, Jambo's restricting options as well in this mid-round, just by pushing deeper and deeper past those mid-steps. He could even catch Davideus.
Davideus is watching out for it, though, and he's going to give it the call forward. Now, Crims, 5-7 still risky. It's still a threat, but they might have misread this. They're expecting Davideus to be moving back over towards the A-bombs, and in that expectation, they are right. Now, the call's been made. paiN is going to the direction of the big bad Blame F. And Davideus is low. There's another rifle to be recovered on the ground. Blame's caught between angles. Who is he going to be going on? Davideus gets the kill. You have got to be kidding me.
He can. I mean, if Davideus dies there, this round is just blown wide open. He's there too early. His teammates are barely out towards long. That is a must-hit frag there for Blame F. Where he did all the work in the round prior, he did not do his job here. I mean, beautiful shot from Davideus. Had to have been a ripper. I mean, barely a bullet out from Blame F before he got his head cleaned off. But that'll be a disappointment here for Fnatic, as paiN are slowly closing in on that gap. Will be another saved AK, and there will be a buy in the round to come by. But two very, very close attempts here. Barely keeping paiN in it.
And Fnatic, might be time to start sweating. As much as we've asked questions about, hey, paiN, why would you let Overpass through this and that and the other? There is no question about who is the better team on paper. There is no question about who should be ramping up going in towards the late stages of a game on paper.
Yeah, it's paiN.
Absolutely.
Based on VRS.
And most other metrics. Crims.
But on Overpass, it has been, I mean, Fnatic have been the better team.
That's true.
Not exactly a map that's seen a lot of play here for paiN in these past few months, so ironing out their map pool perhaps. And a comeback would be a great way to add a little check of confidence for them, even if they've encountered many difficulties. The tides are shifting, and in this buy round, Fnatic have doubled up onto long. Biguzera got picked off last time haphazardly, sort of clearing towards that A bomb site, but if there's an absence of pressure, could call his troops back. They're all set up outside of that B bomb site.
Nice.
Biguzera has been found. They've aggressed out towards long as well. So paiN will be on a timing here that they have to hit soon.
paiN have stalled, they've paused, they're trying to take it slow, and that's where they do find their success. A flash to follow, but it ends up being a team flash as well. Jacasmo gets a double because of it, and now you're in a 4 versus 2 where Fnatic have got the ultimate advantage. Even a quick drop, little stop and stare from Crims. It is 12 for Fnatic. And Bigu, what he's trying to do over there, he pops a grenade on the right side of toilets to try and prove this as a distraction so that Fnatic will not be moving rotations back out towards the B-bombs. Unfortunately, the rest of his troops don't do anything about it. So Jambo, he clears this out, gets the kill, and afterwards, it's just straightforward for Jacasmo. I mean, the second kill, anything but straightforward, but my God.
Yeah, I mean, great reaction from Jacasmo. Immediately sprung on the fact he lost his teammate over towards Monster and locked down that B bomb site. Stopped paiN in their tracks. You're right, it was a bit too static from paiN given how quickly Biguzera was sussed out on his fake attempt. Far from optimal weaponry here for paiN. They have that open NQZ's possession.
Oh my
Tech 9
goodness.
in possession as well. Jacasmo, just barely spotted Digit. The smoke faded, so they know that there's a player inside of short. Jambo up close inside of the bathrooms, and he'll deal with 2 immediately. There's nowhere to go. They have very little room to work off of. A 5-on-2 where Bigu barely breaks through to bathrooms. The Davideus has caught BlameF on a reposition. Crim's encroaching on that flank from Con. And backed up doubly so has support right behind him. And Jambo will lock things down completely. Fnatic opening round victory versus paiN. One of our lowest ranked teams at the event, punching up to paiN.
paiN will go for one of the strongest wildcard situations in saying, hey, you know what, we're just going to play a map we've never played, and they suffer because of Fnatic. Looked like they were calling better, they looked like they were